everyone, my name's Devin and this is my channel where I share travel videos, talk about travel, and post the occasional rant. So welcome if you are new and welcome back if you are not. Today's video is going to be a look back at the year 2020. Before I jump into that, I just wanted to wish you a happy new year. Today is New Year's Eve, so just wanted to wish you all the best for 2021. And I hope wherever you are, you're able to find a way to celebrate with friends and family, whether it's virtually or in person or whatever your state has sanctioned for the moment. I also apologize in advance. I am filming out in the front for the first time and there's a lot of birds and wind and dog barking happening, so we'll see how this goes, but bear with me if the sound and lighting is a bit weird. So overall, 2020 was a little bit of a weird year. I don't know if I could say it was a terrible year. Like, there were definitely moments where I was like, this sucks. But for me and my perspective and my experiences, I think that for myself, I was very lucky and I'm really grateful that my year wasn't a total pile of crap. And I know for some people it was an absolutely horrific year. I just feel like I kind of trudged through this weird time of life and made it to the end of the year. I definitely feel for people who are really negatively affected by anything that happened. We all know what happened in the world. We don't need to list it all off, but I know that people had a really tough time. I was gonna say this till the end, but I think I'm just gonna say it now. What I learned this year was to adapt to change and roll with the punches and accept that your feelings are valid, but to also keep things in perspective. Understand that things could be worse for sure, but things could also be better. And it's okay to acknowledge that and accept that and accept your feelings. Accept that what you are experiencing is valid, and nothing irks me more than when people like post these things on Instagram like, this is what Christmas of 1914 looked like, and it's like World War I. Yeah, absolutely, like things could be worse, but people's feelings are valid and they're allowed to feel the loss of Christmas with their family. Like, sure, things could be worse, absolutely, but this is their experience and their feelings are valid. That's all. Who cares? I just should not go on Instagram as much as I do. Anyways, I just think as long as we can make the most of our experiences, whether they're positive or negative or a mix of both, because not everything is black and white, then that's the best that we can do in this life. The point of this is just to share what the year was personally for me, what I went through, what I did. I did do some traveling apart from Barbados, so I'll share a bit about that. And yeah, just kind of looking back as the elements are against me, before starting to look forward to what next year could bring, having a quick look back and reflecting on my own year and what I experienced and what I liked and what I didn't and all the things in between. So to start off, January 2020, it was freezing. I remember it was like minus 45 and my car broke. So it sat in my parking lot at my apartment. Thankfully, where I used to work, it was literally a 5-minute walk from where I lived. So I could walk into work, but it was minus 40, so I was also bundled up to like the nines. I'm from the Edmonton area of Alberta, Canada, so it's like the Arctic tundra up there sometimes. Not actually, that's not geographically correct, but it gets cold. In the midst of all this, I decided I needed a new vehicle because my car was from 2005 and it was not doing well for quite a while, and that was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. So I was talking to my friend Lori and we'd been planning to have me go visit her in February for a week. She lives in Phoenix, and I think like a couple weeks before I was gonna book these tickets, she called me up and she's like, you should come and meet me and my husband in San Diego, and we'll stay there for a couple nights and then we'll drive back to Phoenix, and then you and I will chill for a week and then you can fly from Phoenix home. I booked the flight to San Diego and then I was waiting to try to find a cheap flight home, and in the meantime Lori had been wanting to sell her car, so essentially, to make a long story short, I decided I would buy my now car. I would buy her car off of her and drive it back to Canada. So I never booked the return ticket, just decided I would drive back from Phoenix. Sean offered to fly down like the Thursday before we would leave, and then we would drive up the Saturday, Sunday, so bless him. That was wonderful. It was a whirlwind of a road trip, so my god, there's like, I don't know if it's wind or geckos right now, but there's a lot happening out here. So went to San Diego, that was fun. I'd been there before, but we stayed in a hostel. That's where this shirt's from the hostel we stayed at. So I thought that was an appropriate shirt for today's video. We hung out in San Diego for a night, and then we drove back to Phoenix and then had a relaxing week there, which was so nice. The weather was gorgeous. We did a couple hikes, and yeah, I've been to Phoenix a lot as well, and I really like the area. Sean came. We did the road trip through America, so we basically drove like, I think in total it was supposed to be a 12-ish hour drive. I'll post up a screenshot of the Google Maps, whatever Google Maps says it is. and it was a haul. So we woke up at like 4 in the morning on Saturday, drove up through Utah. We got to Salt Lake City, and basically my tires were bald, so we had to get the tires replaced, and then continued up. I think we got through like Idaho, and we were just in Montana when we got really tired. It was around like 11 o'clock, because obviously being in Salt Lake City for a couple hours ended up adding a bit to our trip time. So we ended up deciding to stay overnight in Montana, and then woke up the next morning, drove the rest of the way through Montana and Alberta, got home, and we were all good. There's something else I was gonna add to that. When we crossed the border, we had to obviously declare the goods we were bringing back. It didn't even occur to me to mention the new tires. I don't even remember how it ended up coming up, but we were like, oh yeah, we got like $500 worth of new tires. So the officer tried to like get mad at us for that, but I've done that a lot. Like when I was coming home from Australia, I sent like 3 boxes to Canada separate from me, because I was traveling through New Zealand and Hawaii on the way back, so I didn't want all that stuff with me anyways. When I went to pick the stuff up at customs, when it arrived like 2 months after I got home, the guy was like, on your customs declaration card, you didn't check off that you had unaccompanied items, and like it didn't even occur to me. Side note, that has nothing to do with 2020. So then in March, oh yeah, and that was, sorry, my god, I have a script, believe it or not. I remember being in America and there was talk of COVID, and I was like, this is not gonna be a thing, like it's overblown, it's just gonna be like SARS, whatever. Side note, foreshadowing. So then in March we decided to go snowboarding, and it turned out to be basically the last thing we did. It was like the last activity before quarantine is what I'm trying to say. I remember Sean called me like the Friday before, and he was like, I don't think I'm gonna come snowboarding because like things are bad with this virus. And I was like, no one's told us to not do anything, like let's go enjoy it, whatever. So we both ended up going. We went with a group of friends, we had a good time. And sure enough, like we'd got home that Sunday. It was like the 16th of March or something, and they'd announced that schools were being shut down, and I worked in childcare, so I was about to be laid off basically, and anything non-essential was shutting down. It was weird timing for all of that. And then basically April to May I was laid off. I went and stayed with Sean, and don't know what to say about that. That was that. I got sick, and this was before they had enough tests to be like testing everyone 24/7 to make sure that they were fine, but I literally had symptoms for like a month. So I basically was isolated. Sean was isolated. We had one of my best friends bringing us groceries. My mom bought us groceries sometimes because we just couldn't go out because I had these symptoms. And then he got sick, and I think we were just like giving each other sickness like throughout a cycle of this time that we were in this lockdown. But yeah, once we got better, it was great because I started to bike around. Like I went back to my apartment at one point and got my bike, which was a high school graduation gift, and I graduated in 2011, so that was a really long time ago. But I've used my bike more last spring and summer than I did since I got the bike, so that was a good thing. Went for lots of walks, explored the area of where Sean lives, so pretty much experts on that. Then June turned up, and I went back to work at a very reduced capacity, so that was a bit strange, but at the end of the day I was just grateful to be working again and to not be locked in my house against my will. And then July, things were starting to loosen up with restrictions and whatnot, so we were able to go camping quite a bit. Like I think every weekend in July we went camping, so that was really fun. In August, Sean and I did a week-long camping trip. It was one of like our first actual like full-length vacations together, because I mean, I guess Phoenix was like the first one, but that was more logistical than anything. So we went camping for a week. The first day we got there, we almost got murdered by trees, but I'll save that for another video. And then this month was the month that we decided to move to Barbados and take advantage of the welcome stamp visa, and yeah, just take the plunge and move here. Also went to Drumheller that month, which is one of my favorite places because I love the dinosaur museum, but because they were doing time tickets, we couldn't go. But we saw the hoodoos, and we did a hike through, I think it's called Horseshoe Canyon or something, I can't remember. That was fun. I got to go with my cousins and my one cousin's girlfriend, and it was fun. We had a good time. And then September was just like a blur of chaos. My parents were both born in September, and I was too, so there was like a bunch of birthday stuff. I was trying to get all my stuff fit into my storage unit, and then it was my last month of full-time work as well, so it was just crazy. Oh, and my dog died. Rest in peace, Georgie. She was old though, so it was kind of expected, but still sad. And then October 7th, we came down to Barbados, and here we are to see the Barbados experience. Check out the rest of the videos on my channel. Oh, and I found out I was gonna be an aunt, so it's good news, good news. Ending things on a positive note, that's absolutely for certain. And again, not everything was bad. In fact, I think like all things considered, I had a good year, but I was not someone who had a graduation or a wedding or lost a loved one. I had it pretty good, have to say. Lots of my relationships grew and strengthened, and despite the fact that we couldn't actually see each other, I remember like calling this one group of my friends like almost every other week sort of thing, doing like a little drinking night virtually and doing the same things with Sean's friends on occasion, you know, visiting people from the sidewalks, waving, going for walks, waving at our friends. Like, it was good. It wasn't great, but it was good, and it certainly could have been worse. Obviously, moving to Barbados was incredible. It was something that if you told me this time last year I was going to do, I wouldn't have believed you for a second, because I was like, I'm retired, I'm ready to settle down. Retired from traveling, that is. It was something I would have never expected for this year, so that was a really cool, fun surprise, and it's just another example of you just never know what life's gonna bring you. So all of my goals and like New Year's resolutions are based around things like that I know I can personally do wherever I am in the world or whatever the circumstances. Like work out, continue to work out, or read a book once a month. Anyways, that's another video for another time. I'm also really thankful that I've been able to continue my schooling. I've been doing online school for, this will be my 4th semester now, 2nd year, I guess technically my 5th, whatever, not important. Very thankful that I have that in my life, because it was the one, like outside of relationships and that kind of stuff, it was the one constant throughout all of the chaos of this year. Very grateful for that, and I'm very passionate about school. I love to learn, so that was super, super good. And yeah, that is my year in a review. It was hella weird. The end. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to listen to some more random thoughts, rants, or most importantly, travel, especially in the Barbados area, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Throw this video a little like if you liked it, and if you've made it this far, thanks a million. Thanks for being here. It's good to chat with you. Take it easy. Happy New Year, and see you next time.